Yeah.
All right, thank you everyone for joining. We have about 51 people on the call right now. I'm going to start the live stream really quick on Facebook. Thank you all for joining. We request that you keep your audio and video off. My name is Harshdeep Singh Nanda. I'm an employer and entrepreneurship advisor over at Ohlone College's Tri-Cities Career Center. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I want to thank Andrew Soliz from Michigan College, Amy Miller from the Tri-Valley Career Center, and our friends at EBMUD, Zone 7, and Valley Water. So thank you everyone for joining us today. If you could all keep your videos off, that would be much appreciated. So let's get started right away. Something I do want to let everyone know, this is sort of a pilot. This is the first time we're doing a Career Bytes event with 3 employers. So you'll be hearing from 3 different agencies that are hiring. At the end, we'll have a 15-minute Q&A session. And as always, I will be sending out an email after the event with the link to the recording of this event and some key resources and the contact information for our guests today. So you can ask them any questions you may have. So let's get started right away. I want to thank Steven.currie from EBMUD. If you'd like to do a quick presentation on your opportunities and EBMUD as an agency.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if I can get this screen sharing going. All right, everyone can see that, right? Hi, everyone. I'm Steve Currie from East Bay Municipal Utility District, and I'm here to talk about East Bay MUD and the jobs that we have here. We are one of the 3 largest water wastewater agencies in the Bay Area, and you can see this is our service area. We serve a big part of Alameda County and Contra Costa County, and we're a special services district, so we're kind of a government agency, but we're not part of the county or city, any specific city or the state. We're our own entity, and we're served through different wards, and each of the wards has different elected officials, so it's kind of a unique organization. And here you can see our wastewater area in green, so we provide both water and wastewater services. And this is kind of what our infrastructure looks like. We have pipelines that go all the way up to the lower Sierra Nevadas. That's where our water comes from, or the water, if you are in our water service territory, that's where your water comes from. It starts to snow melt. It comes down through pipes, and we treat the water before it comes out to you. And then we treat the water after you use it if you're in our wastewater territory. Our current recruitments, this is what everyone really wants to know about. You can see these on our website. If you go to www.eastbaymud.com/jobs, if you click on job opportunities, you'll see all of our current jobs. These get updated every Monday, every week. You'll see new recruitments. We are recruiting every week. And we've got probably a bunch of recruitments that we'll be recruiting for in the next several weeks, as we slowed down recruitment a little bit during shelter in place, and now we're starting to open up some of the recruitments that have been on hold. So again, check out our website, and you can actually see what we have currently this week: Ranger Supervisor, Senior Construction Inspector, Assistant Engineer, Electrical or Control Systems, Associate Electrical or Control Systems Engineer, Heavy Equipment Mechanic, and Manager of Laboratory and Technical Services. So if you see something that you're interested in applying for, please take note of the filing date. The filing date is sometimes open and continuous, meaning as soon as we get candidates or enough candidates, we may close it, but these are usually harder to fill positions, so we keep them open for a longer period. Otherwise, we usually have a start and end date for our recruitments, and you can see that they're there. If you're looking at heavy equipment mechanic, make sure you get your application in by tomorrow. Most of the others are at least through next week. So the thing to do is all of our applications are online. You go to our website, you click applicant registration and login, you go in, it takes you to log in and do your applications. That's kind of the process. Now there's a few special recruitments that are kind of outside of our organization. We run these through partner organizations, and these are some of our special internship programs. One of our special internships that we're running is a 10-week internship for junior ranger naturalist. It's a virtual internship. This was originally going to be an in-person internship, and because of COVID-19 restrictions, we said we still want to engage people that are interested in being rangers, and we want them to have an opportunity to engage with us. And so these interns will work with me, actually, in the diversity and inclusion office on developing a workforce report, kind of exploring ranger careers in the water and wastewater industry, and especially, of course, at EBMUD. If you're interested in that, we're really just looking for folks that have their high school diploma. If you're currently about to graduate, as long as you graduate before the program starts in July, you're eligible. So we're looking for some great candidates there. We also have a couple other programs for electrical engineering students. These could be university or community college students. Also software engineering, same thing, university or community college students. It's very similar. It's a little bit shorter program because we know university and college students will be getting back to classes in August, September. These were originally supposed to be internships hosted by our electrical engineers and by our software engineers. Since we're not bringing interns in person, these are going to be virtual internships. Again, they're going to be working with the Diversity and Inclusion Office, helping us figure out strategies for recruiting stronger pipelines for diverse electrical engineers and software engineers in the future. So if you're interested in those positions, the application process, including the ranger, the electrical engineer, or the software engineering interns, basically you email me a resume, cover letter, and your unofficial transcripts. The electrical engineer and software engineer internships, our applications are due tomorrow. And the ranger, you've got another week. So next week from this. Okay, if you don't see careers that you're interested in or current openings, know that these are kind of a list of all of our different divisions and departments at EBMUD. We got natural water and natural resources. That's where like our rangers are. Operations and maintenance, a lot of our skilled trades. Engineering, construction. Wastewater has got kind of a mix of the previous three. And then we've got more of our administrative jobs in finance and administration. Again, if you're looking for jobs that aren't quite posted yet, that we're not quite recruiting for, it's the same website, ebmud.com/jobs. Click on job resources. And you can see when you click on job resources, there's information on job descriptions and salary information, there's salary schedules, and there's career paths. So what are the steps that you can look for? What are the common careers that people are connecting to at EBMUD? If you want to find information about specific jobs, or you want information, or we want us to let you know when we begin a recruitment for a specific classification, all you need to do is click on that job descriptions and salary information link, and it'll take you to a page that looks like this. You can see every job description, every job that exists at EBMUD is listed A to Z. So you can see the minimum qualifications, you can see kind of the salary scale, and you can click on a link that says, please email me when you're recruiting for this position or positions like it. And we'll send you an email, just make sure it's not going to your spam. The other thing to do is make sure that you fill out your job profile in advance. That way, when we are recruiting for the position you're interested in, you won't have to sit down and fill out your whole profile. You'll already have it. Just look through it, update it. Make sure you answer any questions that may be associated with the recruitment, and hit submit. A lot of times, as you've seen from my earlier slide, recruitments are limited terms. So you may only have a couple of weeks. Sometimes you only have a week. Sometimes you only have a few days for our larger, more popular recruitments. those tend to be our entry-level opportunities. Other reasons to come and work for East Bay MUD, we've got a great workforce. We focus on different core values of stewardship, integrity, respect, and teamwork. You can see these values kind of throughout the district, so it makes it a great place to work. Also, we've got a number of affinity groups that help kind of connect people together. You can see those up on the screen there. And if you have questions, we have a job hotline. You've got that website with all of our information, and you've got my email there as well. So that's what I have. I'm going to pass it over. I'm going to pass it back to our hosts.
Great. Okay. Do you want me to just jump in, Harshdeep? Okay, I am happy to introduce Alexandra Bradley. She is from Zone 7 Water Agency. It's our governing groundwater sustainability agency, which provides clean water and flood control to most of us in the Tri-Valley area. And Alexandra Bradley is our speaker today.
Okay, can you hear me? All right, thank you for having me today. Just give me one quick second and let me get my PowerPoint up. Okay, sorry, skipped one. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alexandra Bradley. I am the communications specialist for Zone 7 Water Agency. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about the agency. We are kind of a quiet agency that we don't get a lot of attention because we are a water wholesaler. So first off, I wanted to talk a little bit about the geographic area that we cover. So within the Bay Area and Alameda County, there are several water conservation and flood control districts, and we are number 7. That's our name. And this drilled down is our service area. So we serve the city of Pleasanton, Dublin San Ramon Services District, the city of Livermore, California Water Service, as well as some direct customers with water, both treated and untreated. And so some of our roles, so we actually play several different roles within the Tri-Valley area. So one of those roles is importing water. We're a state water contractor, so we import 45,000 acre feet of water annually to the valley. So as you can see, that's a lot of water. Without this water, the economic vitality of the area would not be what it is today. We also are the groundwater managers, so we maintain the groundwater basin underneath the service area and ensure that that groundwater basin remains sustainable. We also manage water reliability, so we have to meet the needs of the growing demand in the valley. So at the moment, we're servicing over 260 residents in our service area. And I mentioned our retailers. We also supply, as I mentioned, untreated water. So we have a booming wine industry in the Tri-Valley area. Napa, they supply auto parts. The Tri-Valley, we do wine. So we're helping support that industry. And then we also do flood protection. So we manage over 37 miles of local channels, which is over a third of the channels and creeks in the service area. And we make sure that our homes and businesses remain safe and protected during floods. A little bit about our setup. So East Bay MUD, we are also a special district. We're a little bit different. In 1957, the voters approved setting up a service area so that we have local control over these resources. We have a 7-member elected board of directors. However, we are also somewhat connected to the county. So for example, I am a county of the Alameda, employee of the county of Alameda. And so we have some connections still with the county, but a lot of what we do, we govern separately. And some of our facilities. So we have 2 water treatment plants. One is the Del Val water treatment plant, which is a 40 million gallon per day treatment facility. And then we have the Patterson Pass water treatment plant, which is our secondary plant. And those are actually both under construction right now. We are very excited to be getting Ozone up and running this summer after several years of construction. So that's a big milestone for us. And we also maintain groundwater production wells. So as I mentioned, we manage the groundwater. A portion of the water that we supply to the valley comes from that groundwater. And we also recharge that system to make sure that it remains sustainable. And then we also maintain the transmission pipelines, which then deliver the water to our retailers. And there's about 40 miles of those. Here's a map of our facilities. So that shows our well fields, as well as the 2 main water treatment plants. And like many water agencies, we are experiencing challenges. So we have climate change and extreme weather events that are changing how we have to manage planning. We have issues coming up all the time about water quality. A lot of our water comes from the Delta, and we're experiencing, because of climate change, changes in the quality of that water. So we're constantly having to monitor that, make changes. We have environmental regulations that are changing. So that's always something that we're dealing with. And then degrading infrastructure. So all of these things are requirements that we need highly skilled workers, and we need people that are able to tackle these challenges. So some additional workforce challenges for us. Just in the month of March, there was a big slew of people retiring, which is great for them, but bad for us, because with that goes the knowledge. So we are looking to recruit more people and get them trained while we have the knowledge base. Today we had an all-employee meeting. Very exciting to hear some of the long-term people that are still with us. We have a plant manager that has been there for 40 years. We have someone in accounting that just hit a 30-year anniversary. So as you can see, it's a great place to work, and it's great for long-term. Some other benefits of working for Zone 7. So as employees of the county, we have excellent benefits. We have medical, dental, vision, savings plans, life insurance. I won't list them all, but you can refer back to this later. We also have tools that help you prepare for your future and your financial security. So we have an excellent pension, defined benefit pension plan in which you're vested after 5 years. And we also offer a deferred compensation plan, which is another way that you can save for retirement and plan for the future. We also have a great work-life balance. So we offer 11 paid holidays. We have floating holidays, great vacation and sick leave accrual. There's a vacation purchase program. You can even get insurance for your pets through the county. And these benefits will vary from one bargaining unit to the other, but generally speaking, these are some of the benefits that you can appreciate when you work for us. And we have a great, a pretty good swath of opportunities. So jobs here aren't just for the college bound. We have a lot of entry-level jobs. We have jobs in engineering, we have jobs in accounting, geology. If you like to work at a desk, we have jobs for you. If you like to get out in the field and do maintenance checks and be out and about and in the outdoors, we have a lot of opportunities there. We have jobs in water quality. You can be testing things and experimenting and doing chemistry. You can work on safety. You can work on logistics. So there are a breadth of opportunities at the agency. So we really do have quite a wide swath. And then really what I like, I've been with the county or with the Zone 7 for 1.5 years now. So not very long, but one of the things that I really appreciated in coming here was the family that we have. So this is a fun picture. We had a new sign installed in front of our headquarters in Livermore, and our staff got together on their lunch break. And because when they put the sign in, they had to take out all of the landscaping in front of it, we worked together. We designed a water-wise landscape plan. And then rather than hiring a contractor to put those plants in, we decided to have a fun employee get together, and we put those plants in ourselves. And I haven't seen them in a little bit since I haven't been to the office in a couple of months, but I bet they are looking pretty nice now as we put those in the winter. And as you can see, you know, everyone's smiling. We've got different people in that picture, from engineering to environmental planning, and a manager, and a water resources planner, and someone that works on watershed protection. So we're all together having a good time, even in this time where we don't get to see each other on a daily basis. We are still connected and doing, you know, fun little happy hours after work. So it's really a great family of employees to work with, and I'm really proud to be a part of this team and would welcome anyone to join us. And I wanted to tell you about how you can find out about jobs. So all of our jobs are housed in the Alameda County Human Resources website. So you can go, I have in the right-hand corner is the link. It's jobappscloud.com/Alameda. And if you type into the job search zone 7, that will actually pull up all, not available. What I did here is you can look at all of the potential jobs that zone 7 hires for. And you can also create a notify me of new jobs job search. So if you see a job that's not currently in recruitment, you can actually set up a notification so that if we do have a posting, you'll get an automatic alert. And then we also do have that in the current positions housed on our website, which is www.zone7water.com/working-here. And then I wanted to talk real quick about the current positions that we have open. So we have 4 current recruitments and we have a slew more coming in the works. So do make sure you bookmark our website and check back for those jobs. Right now we're hiring a senior auditor/accountant. We also have an instrument technician 2. We've got a procurement and contract supervisor and an associate civil engineer/professional geologist. And that has actually been extended. So all of these are hiring through sometime in June. They all have different dates, but if you go to our website, I have the current dates up there. And with that, I will open it up to questions. Oh, sorry, we're doing questions at the end, so I will stop.
Yeah, we'll be having a Q&A at the end. So if anyone has questions, please send them to the chat. Andrew?
Thank you, Harshdeep. Yes, please put all your questions in the chat box. We'll get to as many as we can. Harshdeep is going to upload this video to our YouTube channel, Career Bytes, and also we'll have all the points of contacts that the employers that we're speaking today. With that being said, I wanted to introduce ingridbella. She is the Employer Service Specialist for Valley Water. So I'll let Ingrid take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. I'm really excited to be part of this Career Bytes. I want to share a little bit about Valley Water and show you a little bit around our jobs page. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully I get this right. Can everybody see my?
Ingrid, your email is the only screen that's being shared, so we can't see the video. If you could switch the view.
Not working.
No, you'll have to switch the window that you're sharing.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
What did I do?
Do you want to send the link to the video in the chat? And
I sent it to Andrew earlier. Andrew, do you think you can help me?
Yes, of course. Let me get that right now.
And Andrew, remember to share the audio as well. So
Yeah. So you wanted to do the YouTube channel first, right, Ingrid?
Correct. It's just
Okay.
30 seconds. It'll just give everyone an overview of who Valley Water is.
Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. Just let me share it.
just as true for the Valley's early farmers as it is today. Here, a complex and reliable water system developed by the Santa Clara Valley Water District provides safe, clean drinking water 24 hours a day, as well as protection from flooding and enhancement of our natural environment. Santa Clara Valley Water District, protecting your future. Learn more at valleywater.org.
Thank you, Andrew. You're much better at that than me.
No problem.
And then if you can let me share the screen, I'll try to get to the other page that I wanted to share. So.
Okay, I could share it again. It's no problem.
Will I be able to scroll through it though?
No,
okay.
I would say, Ingrid, if you want to share it, that would be better.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I'm just hoping I can find it. I thought I had it open already. Let's see. So I wanted to share that a lot of the information I want to share with you about jobs are located on our website, Valley Water, just similar to EBMUD and Zone 7. And we have a lot of information here about who we are, our history, the job openings, the class specifications.
Ingrid, the
Yes.
window from your email is still, from your calendar is the one that's being shared. If you could switch the window so we could see the link you have up there.
See.
You'll just want to select a different window.
For some reason I don't, well, here it is. There we go. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries. Perfect, thank you.
So here's the website, hopefully, the web page on our careers and job openings. It shows a little bit more about who we are, our values, different things that we do in terms of recruitment. And what I wanted to show you is we do have our current openings here. We have a lot of positions open. Not all of them are in the same stages. We actually have close to 50 positions open, but they're all of different places. Some of them have already been closed, but these are the ones that you can open, and then we have more that are coming. We have assistant biologist 1 and 2, fisheries and wildlife, assistant engineer 2, civil, some associate engineers. Some of them require a PE degree, some don't. So that's a good possibility for those getting into that field. Similar to the Zone 7, we have contracts positions, a contract administrator 2, and I think there's a contracts, a senior construction contracts administrator as well. And then we also have an engineering technician 1 and 2, maintenance liaison, management analyst in our HR benefits area, network architect. So there's quite a variety of positions that you can consider. And one of the things, just like everyone else has mentioned, we have everything listed here. You can look at the specs, you can see the benefits of the positions or of what we offer here. And obviously, I think the advantages of being in the water and wastewater field is a lot of our agencies are public agencies. We tend to offer a more stable work environment than maybe the private industry. And so our benefits tend to cover things that you may not find in the private industry, such as pension and some of the other benefits. We do also have, similar to 401ks, we do also have 457s that you can contribute and prepare for your retirement in the future. One of the things that we always recommend that people do if they're interested in joining us is to fill out an interest card. So you can see there's a variety of jobs that you might be interested in, or maybe you're interested in an internship, or that you want to get into purchasing or any of these fields. You can select that and fill out the card and send it in. And as soon as a job is posted in that particular field or the different fields that you've selected, you'll get an email so that you don't have to be constantly monitoring our website. You actually know that you'll get notified as soon as those opportunities come up. I know that my counterpart shared a lot about the history of Santa Clara Valley Water District. I can just say I've been here 16 years. I love working here. I never thought I'd be with an employer this long. All of my background has been in private industry, and I think the longest I had was I was an HR manager for 7.5 years at a high-tech company. So 16 years have gone by really fast because there's always really exciting work being done in the water industry. I know we here at Valley Water have huge capital projects that are that our board really wants to make sure get done. We have the Anderson Dam down in Morgan Hill. We have also some water resources that we're working on even further south in the Pacheco area. And so what that means is there's going to be a lot of opportunity. As I mentioned, I've just given you a sliver of some of the jobs that we have open. We have more that are being applied because we need to get those projects done. And during this COVID time, it's been great, even though for some reason I'm not getting how to work Zoom. We are learning so many things working virtually, and it's been great to be able to continue the work of our, that our community needs. We are going to be, if you visit our website, you can always stay, attuned to what we're doing. We have a lot of new news. We have a new CEO, Rick Callender, that's going to be starting in July. North Camacho, our most recent CEO, had been with us for 8 years, did an excellent job in creating the type of culture that we have here. And I know Rick's going to do an even better job. So you can get a lot of information about the organization, the zones that we cover, the different programs that we offer the community in terms of water conservation and other flood protection programs. So I hope you'll consider looking at Valley Water, if, especially if you're Mission College, we're in this area, and we'd love to have you take a look at us as a future employer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ingrid. I'm going to turn it back to Harshdeep, and I believe we're going to go into our Q&A session.
Yeah, so it looks like we have ample time for our Q&A session. Before I move on, because what I'm doing now is I'm going through the chat, I'm pulling out the questions. Before we move on to the Q&A session, if we could quickly have Steve and Ingrid, Alexandra, if you'd like to talk a little bit about yourselves, what your background has been, what you studied. I know oftentimes something you study is not somewhere you end up a few years down the line, but anything you'd like to share about yourself, just your personal experiences working with a water district and what you've done in the past. That gives a lot of insight for our viewers. So Stephen, if you'd like to start off, and then we could go on.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. So I've been with EBMUD for the past 2 years and working in the Diversity and Inclusion Office, which is a group within Human Resources. It's actually my first job in Human Resources. My background before that has been more workforce development, and of course I'm doing workforce development type of work within Diversity, Inclusion, and Human Resources at EBMUD. But previously I spent 5 years at San Francisco Public Utilities Commission. I mentioned EBMUD is the second largest water wastewater agency. Well, SFPC is the largest, EBMUD is the second largest. And so I've got 7 years in water and wastewater, and it's a great industry, just the variety of opportunity, the opportunity to work and in the public sector and public service and in service to the environment. And it's a critical service that we provide. It's not going to go away. It's not going to get outsourced. We're always going to need people, and there's a desperate need for skilled people. Before I came to water and wastewater, I was working in workforce development at the city and county in San Francisco, and it was clear to me the opportunities that water and wastewater represented, and that's kind of why I kind of moved on and stayed in water and wastewater for the past 7 years. It's really a critical field, tremendous opportunities. There's a variety of agencies throughout the Bay Area. You can get a job, grow in that job, stay at the same agency or move between agencies. The industry works together. The reason this Career Byte was pulled together so quickly is because I asked if I could be part of it. And then I said, can I also bring some of my water and wastewater agency colleagues, because we collaborate. It's an important strategy that we have to work together. And together we're trying to figure out how do we get more people interested in water and wastewater to really understand the careers and the opportunities that are available here. as Ingrid talked about, as Alex talked about, great benefits. People stay in these careers sometimes for decades. Some of my colleagues at EBMUD are celebrating a 30-year anniversary, right? They can retire, they just don't want to. But they will be retiring soon. So we know there's going to be a tremendous need for an infusion of talent. Everything from skilled trades to engineering to administration. Really, we're kind of a large agency at EBMUD, so we hire across kind of the full business spectrum of needs.
Alex, Raymond, if you'd like to go next.
Yeah, so I'm kind of a Jill of all trades. So I have my degrees in economics and political science, and I got started in the mortgage industry and was in real estate. And then the recession happened and I had to reinvent myself. So I ended up moving on into the recycling and solid waste industry. And I did that for several years, primarily in public outreach and communications and public relations work there. And I've been in large companies like Waste Management, where they're Fortune 500 companies, to working for small agencies and companies and nonprofits as well. And on my bucket list was always working for a public agency. And to me, I've always wanted to work for government. Having a background in politics, it was always very interesting to me. And I like the idea of rather than working for something that's a consumable good, feeling that I'm working for the public is really important to me. So I take my job and doing communications very seriously. My job is to relay to the public what the agency is doing and making sure that we're transparent. And that to me at the end of the day feels really good. So it's not just that I'm earning a paycheck. It's, I feel good about what I do and I feel like I'm making a big impact. And it's not just me because I'm public facing. I look at some of my colleagues and, they're doing really important work, whether it's some of our essential workers that are out there every day on the front lines, making sure that our transmission lines are working or making sure that the water gets treated so that at the end of the day, it comes out of your tap and you don't have to worry about that. Especially with COVID right now, I mean, water, it's something we don't all think about. I turn on the tap and it's like, yeah, it's always there. I don't have to, give it a second thought, but there is so much going on behind the scenes and so many people involved in that process from point A, getting it from the mountains, bringing it down into the valley, through treating it, through making sure that it makes its way through the pipelines, that I think we don't really give that a lot of thought. And, but we as government employees, we know what we're doing and we know the value and the service that we're providing to our constituents. And I think that means a lot to me in the work that I do. And like some of my colleagues had mentioned, especially now, economic times are a little bit uncertain. Every day is a different day and there's a lot of uncertainty, but I feel like working for government, I feel secure in my job. I feel secure in my benefits. I think, especially for a lot of people coming into the industry or into any industry rather, looking for a job, what I like to tell job seekers is it's not just about salary. So you might have a good salary, but if you don't have a good benefits package, at the end of the day, if you get sick and you can't pay for, whatever's going on, or if you don't have a retirement fund building, the sooner you start, the better, then those are all things that really add to the bottom line. And so when you're applying for a job, you don't want to just look at the salary and the bottom line. You want to look at the overall benefits package, because maybe you make a couple $1,000s less at one job, but if they have a benefits package that's valued at $30,000 or $40,000, then those aren't peanuts. So those are something that I really encourage job seekers to analyze and take into account when they're applying for jobs or thinking about positions that they might be interested in, because that is a huge component of your actual package, and it's really important to look at the big picture.
Great, thanks. Ingrid?
So I was listening to my colleagues and thinking about my career, and I find that a lot of people that get into the water and the wastewater industry kind of fall into it. I don't know if it's a career that is more, as popular as, let's say, especially here in Silicon Valley, working in high tech or what have you. But once you fall into it, you just fall in love, because it really has a lot of altruistic values in terms of what we offer. I mean, water is life. It's something that is, as Steve said, not something we can outsource. And so it's a really valuable that we're building the workforce here within our communities. As far as how I got started and how I fell into this, I'm first generation American. My parents are immigrants from Central America. And, they weren't college graduates, but all they kept telling me was, you got to go to college. And so I had to figure it out. And I'm a product of community college. I support community college. I think they have a great part of our building our future. And so I attended De Anza College to get my undergrad work done, and then I transferred to San Jose State thinking I was going to be a Spanish teacher, because I really didn't know what career was out there. My dad actually had told me, why don't you major in business? But I thought business was just sales and marketing, and I thought, oh, I don't want to do that. I ended up getting a part-time receptionist job at a biotech company, reporting into HR. And then I asked one of the ladies there, I said, how do you get into HR? And she goes, there's actually a business degree at San Jose State with a concentration in HR. So I actually changed my major in my junior year and started all over again. I kept my minor in Spanish, but majored in business with HR, and worked all throughout my career. So I worked at that biotech company in the summers in HR, building that job. And I have a lot of respect for students who work their way through college. It's hard, but I think it's really cool because you get to apply a lot about what you're learning. And I stayed in that company for about 5 years. And when I graduated, I went into a data communications company, was there about 7.5 years, did some .com. I mean, when you were in a certain field, you can kind of bounce around in different industries. And then around, I think it was about around 9/11 or so, the industry, not the industry, but just the economy went down after 9/11. And I was pregnant with my second child. So I decided to have a kind of my own personal, what do they call that? When you take a kind of a year off. And when I came back, I started on a temp assignment at California Water Service Company, one of your customers, Alexander, one of the retailers. And I fell into water. I had never been part of it, but I learned what the different types of classifications were. And I was the HR manager there and helped them fill a lot of jobs. And about 2 years later, an opportunity opened up here at Valley Water. And like I said, I've been here 16 years. I don't even know how that happened. But just within the organization, I've been able to be a senior management analyst for several of the executives here, learning the different parts of the business in the water utility enterprise, in capital projects. So I know I've learned a lot about the business. And most recently, I was the business support and warehouse unit manager. So I got to learn a lot about the services that we provide. And now I'm an employment services manager in the HR group. I'm kind of full circle back. And so it's been interesting, I think, keeping an open mind, always looking for applying the skills that you're learning as you're going to college, and you're learning how to do critical thinking and on all of that. It'll serve you well. One of the reasons, as Steve said, that we were able to pull this together is we've come together, SFPUC, East Bay Mud, Valley Water, many years ago to build a consortium called Baywork, because we know that we need people in our industry. We're going to need to replace all those wonderful people that are going to be leaving, in the next coming years. So if you're ever interested in learning more about the industry and other employers, we have, over 40, I think, agencies in Baywork. You can go to baywork.org, and it's just a consortium. All of us have pulled together, and we have lots of information about careers there. So this is just one more element of it. And like I said, I think all of us would agree it's a great industry to get into. I hope you all consider joining us.
Great, thanks. Okay, so I've kind of got a three-part question for all of you. So, how much experience is typically required in each of your roles? And would you say that working with you is a good idea for new graduates with limited experience? And then finally, if the skills an individual learns while working at your agency are easily transferred into other industry positions. I know that's kind of a lot. I can repeat it if you need to, but You know, whoever wants to go first, that would be great.
Well, I guess I could go. In the current role that I'm in, you need at least 5 years experience. But you know, we have these minimum requirements, and then they're generally really what they're looking for. So obviously, the most applicable experience, the better. So obviously, I'm coming in with more than 15 years of experience coming into this role. But when I started as a senior management analyst, even bringing in all my management experience, the minimum requirement was 5 years. We have other entry-level jobs where you only need maybe your high school degree. You may not need all the experience, or you have 1 to 2 years. So we have found, at least at Valley Water, that we need to be open to bringing in candidates that may not have tons and tons of experience, because they're really entry-level jobs. They're jobs to get your feet wet, to learn new things, and then advance within the organization. So we do offer that. We do work with graduates. I think that was the second part of your question. I was mentioning to Andrew earlier that we unfortunately had to put the kibosh on our summer program. We have a very structured summer program where we bring students, both juniors, seniors, sometimes graduate students in for the whole summer, working full time and lots of learning experiences. So we're hoping to bring that back next year. In the meantime, we do have, I would say, maybe 50 year-round students that are at the local community and university colleges, where they are working part-time and learning. And I think it's awesome to see. Today we had a management meeting and we listed at least 10 new hires, and some of them had been part of our internship program. So I think all of our organizations, and I know Baywork is a big component, internships are so important to building that pipeline for us.
And do you think they're, do you think those skills they learn doing that are transferable to other individuals?
Yes, yes. I mean, I think some things can't be taught, you know, it's attitude, it's work ethic. And so hopefully they're coming in with that. And those are the type of students we bring in. And if they can prove themselves to be able to apply that in their jobs, I think the more senior employers or you know, managers are happy to spend the time to, you know, give them those opportunities, to coach them, to give them that. So I think when we're looking at the students that we're bringing in that have those transferable skills, it's really about working hard, you know, having that focus, being a positive, you know, giving good customer service, and really valuing every experience, whether it's, you know, grunt work that none of us really likes to do, or really exciting work, really valuing all of it as, you know, a skill set that you're building and be able to put on your resume.
Great.
Something I do want to add in before Steven and Alex, both of you sort of answered the massive 3 or 4 part question. I just want to throw another part into that. We're talking about how much experience, whether new graduates. Can you also sort of touch on what that process or what that, you know, sort of experience is like for career changers? So for example, if we have someone working in the private industry or in a totally different industry, how much sort of, I mean, if they go out and they get a certificate, or if they get, you know, some sort of academic certification in a specific subject, would that suffice to work for your agency, or are you looking for specific experience? I know Ingrid put a great way of saying, you know, it's a great place to get your feet wet, which is, you know, it's nice that, you know, we're talking about water agencies and you say that.
No pun intended.
Yeah, but definitely, if you could comment on that as well, just for the mid-career career changers, that would be great as well.
So I'll jump in and speak to that because in my, let's see, roughly 20 years of being in the workforce, this last year and a half is the first experience I've had working for a public agency. So I did not come in with prior experience doing specifically public agency work on communications and outreach. So as I mentioned, I have experience from working, I did a lot of B2B business-to-business sales. I'm a licensed realtor. I was working in the mortgage industry. Then I transitioned into more of the recycling industry where I did some public outreach. I've managed contracts. I've done grant writing. So when I looked at the Zone 7 job application and the requirements, while I didn't have I couldn't say I had worked at Sonoma Water and been a communication specialist. I was able to transfer the skills that I've built over the last 20 years and fill the position. So in terms of being flexible, I think it's really looking at the breadth of your experience. It's also going to be how you interview. So if you can't, successfully relay to the agency that you hold those skills that they're looking for, which is why it's really important to work on polishing your interview and making sure that you do convey the skills that you have, because it's all about marketing yourself. But just because there's government can be a little bit inflexible at times, but it's all about, looking through that application saying, okay, well, I can check this box and this is how I do that. So I really think it's a component of that. A lot of times these jobs will also have supplemental questions. I urge people to take those very seriously, because that is the first line of screening. If you don't take those questions seriously, you won't even make it in the door for an interview. So really, when I applied for this particular position, I think I probably spent 4 hours writing my questions and doing my application. So it's not something you're going to do in 5 minutes. If you're applying for a job with a government agency and all you're putting in is 5 minutes, then you can just skip the time and move on to something else. But if you really want the job, put in that time, make it well thought out. You can save your job application in most of these portals. So Get Started, work on your answers for the questions, go back, refine it, have someone proofread it, make sure you don't have errors, particularly if you're applying for a job that that's important for. But find mentors in the industry and find ways to understand what an agency is looking for. As Ingrid brought up, Baywork is an incredible resource. We have a lot of programs through Baywork that can help job seekers, that can help you kind of fine tune your skills and do some of those job training things that can help people get those certifications. So yeah, put the effort into that application, and I think that is more important than really being able to fit the exact requirements.
That's great advice. Thank you, Alexander. Steven, if you'd like to quickly touch on it as well, then we do have a few more questions that we'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. So just quickly, for new folks that are new to applying to the public sector, just want to underscore everything Alex just said. It's a little bit different than applying for jobs in other sectors. Some of us are civil service, some of us are just kind of, public agency. Either way, it takes longer, first of all. Don't get frustrated if you don't hear back right away, or if it takes a while. You may be on an eligible list. Folks may not understand what that means, but it means that when there's an opening, they may pull your name from that list. So you may sit on that list for a year, 6 months, sometimes more than a year. Just because you haven't heard from us doesn't mean we have forgotten about you. Also, those supplemental questions are important. You've got to first demonstrate that you can follow directions by getting your application submitted completely, accurately, and supplemental questions kind of answered. Alex is absolutely right. That's the first screening. For our major recruitments, especially for entry-level jobs, hundreds of applications, and a good 100, 200, 300 sometimes just get eliminated immediately because they haven't filled out the application correctly, or they skip the supplemental questions. Supplemental questions are important not just for entry-level positions, but those engineers who aren't used to answering supplemental questions. If you skip over that part and you're just like, here's my resume, you can kind of see my resume. See my resume does not work for answers to supplemental questions. Years of experience, there are entry-level opportunities too. So in human resources, we do have entry-level on our website at EBMUD. You can see some of our career pathways that require just a high school diploma or just kind of a degree and without experience. And then others require experience, but you can kind of see the progression. Also for mid-career changers, we love stealing talent from each other, but it's a limited pool on the waterways. So we know we're gonna have to pull from other fields, and we can't just rely on kind of people that don't have any experience. So we look for people that can answer those supplemental questions, kind of present their applications in a way that shows that they understand the skills and qualifications that they have. So be thoughtful in filling those out. Transferable skills, absolutely. Both within EBMUD or within the specific agency, you can move into different career paths, and we've seen that a lot of the folks in leadership started somewhere and moved up. And then across agencies as well. We love when we get applications from Valley Water or from Zone 7 because we know folks understand the work and kind of probably have the values that we're looking for. And then there's lots of training opportunities, things like tuition reimbursement. So you can go back and get some additional education that helps us grow our own talent as well. So I think I covered most of those parts.
Yeah, I think you did a great job. Thank you, all three of you, for that. I know that was like 4 questions put together. I know, Andrew, you have a question?
Yeah, we have a just real quick yes or no questions from 3 of the employers. I'm going to start it off by asking if you guys have any options for employment for international students. Just a real quick yes or no, and then we can answer a few of these.
International is a little tricky because most of our positions are civil service. I think for internships, there's a little bit more flexibility.
Okay, good to know.
I'm going to pass on that one because I'm not an
No
HR
worries.
expert. So.
No worries, no worries. We don't expect you to know the answers. These are just questions that we're getting in.
Andrew? What was the question again?
If you have any opportunities for international students, just a yes or no.
Oh, no, sorry, it's harder.
No worries, no worries. And everyone, I do want to let everyone know we don't expect our guests to have all the answers, which is why we're going to be sharing their email addresses. You can send them an email with their question. They'll refer you to the best resource to get your questions answered. We're also limited on time, so we are going to have to cut off a bit. I know a lot of you asked some very specific questions in the chat. I would highly recommend that you reach out to everyone. Something I do want to ask quickly, I know, Steven, you yourself, you work in the diversity and inclusion office, but what are sort of some of the diversity initiatives you guys have at your 3 agencies? And disability programs, if you have some pathways for individuals with disabilities to work. And before we answer that, I know, Steven, you mentioned that you do have a tuition reimbursement program. Alexandra and Ingrid, do you know if your agencies also have a tuition reimbursement program?
Yes,
Yes.
we do.
We do. Yeah, actually, I was just reading the county announcement. There's a program through Cal State East Bay for masters in public administration. I think they just had like 20 or so graduates. So that's one of the great opportunities that they have through that. But you can apply that to different educational opportunities. So yeah, that's why
Andrew and I are both in the Master in Public Administration program right now. We're classmates.
Really? Oh, awesome.
A grad, MPA grad.
MPA grad? Ooh, nice. Perfect. All right. So back to my question about diversity and sort of programs for individuals with disabilities. You could quickly comment on that. And we are running low on time, so I will wrap it up after that. But thank you. If you could address that.
Yeah, we have diversity initiatives around people with disabilities, veterans, women, and minorities. We have goals in certain areas, and that means there's a reason you see a diversity inclusion rep, office rep from EBMUD doing a lot of the public facing outreach. We don't have to, generally we get enough kind of applicants for positions, but we want to do the extra step to make sure we're getting not just applicants, but diverse applicants. So that's why you see diversity and inclusion representatives like myself kind of as the face of outreach a lot of times. And then across the industry, just within Baywork, we're starting a women in trades and operations working group. We're starting a veterans working group. And so we're kind of as an industry looking at diversity as well and trying to work together on bringing more diverse talent into the field.
This is Alex. I'm not going to talk too much on the disability because, again, HR, not my wheelhouse. But I did want to mention I manage our public outreach and schools program. And one of the things we're very concentrated on is STEM education, particularly STEM education for women and girls. And I'm kind of proud to say that we have a general manager who is a female. We have another department head running our water reliability programs that is a female, and we have several female engineers. So women can do science too.
Perfect. Ingrid, if you would like to quickly comment on that, and I do have one last question.
Okay. I'm just going to say, I think all of our progressive water agencies have some kind of form of diversity inclusion. We have actually staff assigned to it, and our board is very interested and supportive of that. They really want to make sure that our organization matches what we have out in the community.
Got it. Thank you. So I apologize to everyone for sort of going a tiny bit over time, but this is kind of critical. Steven, I'm getting a lot of questions from specifically students regarding the internship opportunities that you mentioned, the application for which are due tomorrow. If you'd like to quickly talk about the requirements for that and what you need from applicants so that everyone can get started on that right away, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So yes, the due date for the electrical engineer intern and for the software engineer intern is tomorrow. So it's tomorrow, you know, by say midnight, right? I'm not gonna, for our other jobs where you're applying through the district online platform, usually it's 4:30, but these are handled a little bit differently. Just email to me your resume, a cover letter, and unofficial transcripts. Make sure you have all three of those.
So this is not officially on the website.
You won't find these special internships on our EBMUD website. So you can get them through Career Bytes, through Harshdeep. You can email me if you like. I can, if you haven't seen the flyer, I'm assuming most of you have since you're asking about it. But feel free to email me if you have questions. We're getting a big response, especially from engineer. And we just started the recruitment for Ranger, and there is another week for that one. But I'm happy to answer questions as much as my capacity allows. You can email me, and I think my email's available, steven.currie@EBMUD.com.
So Andrew, could you send that into the chat again, his email address? So everyone who is interested in the internships,
Yes.
I would recommend just email Steven, send him a cover letter talking about your experience, why you're interested in the position, attach a resume and your unofficial transcripts, and get them in there. All right.
Yeah, if you want a little edge, I'll give you this tip. Put something in there about diversity and your ability to engage other diverse candidates for these types of careers.
Perfect.
And Career
That sounds
Bytes.
And Career Bytes.
Yeah, you
Mention
can just
Career
say you
Bytes.
met them at Career Bytes. That'll make us very happy. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I want to thank Andrew Soliz, Amy Miller, my partners in Career Services, for helping me put on this great webinar. I want to thank Alexandra Bradley from Zone 7. I want to thank steven.currie from EBMUD, and I want to thank ingridbella from Valley Water for joining us today. Just a quick wrapping up notes. I will be sending out an email within the next few days with a link to the recording, with a list of resources and the contact information for all three agencies. If any questions, please feel free to email them directly. They're very nice people. They'll get back to you right now as soon as possible. So good luck to you all. Be bold, send out those resumes, get hired. All right, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Harshdeep.
Bye.
Thanks.